When we look at Jerry Smith, he seems to be the most normal and human character from the Rick and Morty series. Because of that, he is often used as a laughingstock who is constantly emasculated by his family members, especially by his father-in-law, Rick Sanchez. But have you ever wondered how Jerry's life would be if Rick wasn't as dominant and cruel a character as he is today? When you think about it, we have already seen such a Rick who is inferior to every other Ricks, and the name of that Rick is Doofus Rick, who made his debut in episode 10 of the first season. The Jerry Smith from his universe is totally different from the one we saw in the series, and today I want to talk about him. But before starting, I want to ask you all to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. I hope you all have a great day. Now let's start the video. Well, our story begins with Rick and Morty issue number 21, which was released on December 28, 2016. Morty Smith enters the house with a black eye gained after he walked into a door from watching Jessica bend over. When Jerry tries to claim that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, everyone doubts that Jerry has ever been in a fight. Embarrassed, Jerry storms off before he notices the portal gun. He decided to use that portal gun to meet his only Rick friend, Doofus Rick. In Dimension J19ζ7, Doofus Rick is having a tea party before Jerry arrives, needing a friend. Thrilled to see his friend arrive, Doofus Rick puts Eric Stoltz's Mask Morty in charge of the tea party before the two head out to an amusement park. As the two enjoy the park, the security services notice Jerry and Rick, alerting their boss, ordering that both be brought to him. When the two arrive, the boss reveals himself to be Doofus Jerry. Shocked that he has a counterpart on this Earth, Jerry accidentally reveals the existence of the multiverse. Intrigued, Doofus Jerry reveals that he is the most successful man on Earth, the literal dictionary definition of it, and offers to swap places with Jerry. Though tempted, Jerry ultimately refuses, only to be knocked out. Held at gunpoint, Doofus Rick is forced to surrender the portal gun. Entering Dimension C131, Doofus Jerry is instantly smitten by Beth, his charm quickly winning her over, even developing an attraction to Summer. As he salivates over his next conquest, he is confronted by Morty, who instantly sees through the imposter. After trying to have Doofus Jerry leave peacefully only to be threatened with death, Morty goes to Rick. Confronting Doofus Jerry on the patio, Rick tries diplomacy only to be scoffed at, calling Rick an old drunk. Though furious, Rick is eager to fight a Jerry only to be beaten down before he can even get a shot in. After decades of traversing the multiverse, Rick has finally met his better in Doofus Jerry. When Morty comes into his room in a panic, Rick reveals that he's tried everything up to and including throwing a cat at Doofus Jerry. At wit's end, Rick has decided to just detonate a neutrino bomb and be done with it. As the two argue over the bomb, Doofus Jerry shows up and reveals that he's disarmed it. After taunting the two about Beth's butthole, even if Morty takes a while to get it, Doofus Jerry beats them up again. Picking themselves up, Morty asks why Doofus Jerry doesn't just throw them out, only for Rick to reveal that they're not even worth that effort. Content that Summer is safe in a small protection dimension, Rick explains to Morty that he and Jerry exist on a spectrum as the predators and prey respectively. Normally, Rick always wins, but this Jerry is an anomaly. At this, Morty suggests simply calling in more Ricks. Back in Dimension J19ζ7, Jerry regains consciousness only to be told by Doofus Rick of what happened. Deprived of his portal gun, Doofus Rick can't follow Doofus Jerry, but he can whip up a workaround, telling Jerry to come back in what feels like a month, but will actually be less. In the Dimension C131, Rick has grown desperate enough to call in reinforcements from the Citadel, the soldiers quickly placing Doofus Jerry under arrest. When Beth protests, Rick makes her understand that that's not her husband, only for her to reveal that, to the shock of Rick and Morty, she never laid with the intruder, having been at the hospital all night. In the Citadel, the Ricks discover Doofus Jerry's origin, much to Rick's shock. After Jerry notices the Citadel's advanced technology, he makes for the genetic restructurer. Horrified, Rick realizes that the Doofus dimension isn't the weakest, it's the opposite side of the spectrum. It's a world where the Jerrys are the predators and Ricks are the prey. Stepping out, Doofus Jerry gives off a purple smoke as the Ricks convulse. Inspired by a plague that once struck his reality, Doofus Jerry has restructured his genes to be a poison to Rick. As Summer brings Rick and Morty inside her pocket dimension, Doofus Jerry takes full control of the Citadel and the Council. Having totally taken over the Citadel, Doofus Jerry prepares for the final phase of his conquest, ordering a search for the original Rick and Beth. In the Dimension C131, Rick, protected by the stimulated pain of a trio of Mortys, completes work on a giant robot, as all universe-threatening problems can be defeated through the usage of into a giant robot. Back in Dimension J19ζ7, Doofus Rick has managed to create portal fluid. After telling Jerry that it's not to be drunk but doused, the two traverse realities until they arrive in Rick's mecha. After Beck blames Jerry for everything, the mecha flies off. While the mecha Rick is initially a sign of hope for the trapped Ricks and Mortys, Doofus Jerry reveals his own, even larger mecha that beheads Mecha Rick, its head crashing in the council chamber. After Beth rejects Doofus Jerry, he tries to kill them only to be futilely delayed by Jerry, whom he punches in the gut, causing Jerry to vomit up the portal fluid. The fluid forms a portal that brings forth a giant worm that devours the would-be tyrant. After Rick atomizes the worm, he tells the council that they can lick his balls as a way of repaying their debt. As we can see, unlike most of his counterparts, Doofus Jerry was cruel, sadistic, ruthless, selfish, greedy, violent, and psychopathic. He conquered his Earth and became the richest and most successful man there, but with no sympathy or regard towards others. He is a power-hungry man who is unable to accept rejection, beating his version of Jerry up when he refused his offer to trade lives. Once he heard of multiple dimensions, he jumped at the idea of conquering the entire multiverse. He doesn't seem to have fallen in love prior to meeting Beth, seeing as there was no woman named Beth Sanchez born in his own dimension. He is also really good at fighting, beating Rick and Morty with ease, and even taking down a hired thug in a back alley. He also possesses a vast knowledge of weapons and technology, recognizing all the weapons and gear he saw at the Citadel of Rick's during his trial. He is also very resourceful, quickly entering the genetic restructure to make himself poisonous to Rick's, thereby defeating all of them. He was one of the best characters who was introduced in the comics. I really like the idea of him being this intelligent and unique. Judging by the way dimensions work, it is likely that another Doofus Jerry is still out there, and I really hope that he will make an appearance on the show to scare the pants off of viewers. He is without a doubt the strongest version of Jerry Smith. Maybe the one from the Cronenberg dimension looks stronger than him physically, but I feel like Doofus Jerry's much superior intellect and hacked abilities put him above all the other known Jerrys, and I really hope that we will see him in action sooner or later. But I really wonder what kind of character he'll be. I'll be very disappointed if he was only a one-episode character, but given how Rick and Morty seemingly tries to introduce stronger versions of the main characters like Space Travel Beth, Prime Rick, and Evil Morty, I think the one who will be Jerry's counterpart will be Doofus Jerry, especially since his Cronenberg version was killed at the end of the first episode, which I found very strange and suspicious. I don't know if he will be the villain like Prime Rick and Evil Morty or neutral like Space Traveler Beth, but I am sure he will definitely have a major role if he appeared in the series. Lately I've been reading Rick and Morty comics, and I have to admit that they have been very enjoyable for me. A lot of people doubt its canonicity, but Rick and Morty comics are very much companions to the series. In fact, they even add some things to the canon of the show, which were unfortunately not covered in the series, and I want to talk about that in my future videos. I also have a lot of video ideas for the future which I think you will all find interesting, and all I ask is that you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. What do you think? Will Doofus Jerry ever make his debut in the series? What were the things that you liked about his character? Let me know in the comments, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more. I hope you all have a great day.